A new acronym landed this year. I know, as if we needed another one. FOBO, or the fear of becoming obsolete, captures a growing psychological dread of irrelevance as AI tools proliferate and workplaces rapidly shift. Or as Corn Ferry put it, the fear factor now focuses on being outdated, antiquated, or just past it. In a business environment fixated on restructures that, like those god-awful, pointless forever wars, never really seem to end, the primary fear used to be about getting axed overnight. We've long lived with the reality of being downsized, offshored, or outsourced in corporate life, but FOBO's in a different league. It's more of a drip, drip, drip of angst, like a tap with a faulty washer that, if unchecked, eventually becomes a flood of dread about one's long-term viability. We start to question everything we once took for granted, like what happens to those carefully crafted career strategies and CVs built with so much blood, sweat and tears. Will they simply no longer matter? And, what about our track record and success metrics? Will they have currency when bots can do much of the work in a fraction of the time? I don't know about you, but when I look at the job boards, it feels as if the value of professional credentials is melting away faster than a tub of ice cream left out in the sun. I only heard about FOBO last week, which you'd have to say puts me a few months behind the 8 ball as it's been around for a while. Having asked my AI bud Gemini, of course I did, it's clear this is a genuine trend, not just a flash in the pan. The job boards, as I said, are heaving with FOBO advice. Fortune and Forbes have featured it, and references are pretty much everywhere once you start looking. So how could I have missed it? But Forbes magazine put it quite well. The typewriter became obsolete. The work it did no longer had a purpose. That's not what's happening to most professionals navigating AI disruption. Some roles will vanish outright and no reframing rescues them. But for most knowledge work, the work is not disappearing. What is changing is the capability required to do it well. Thank you, Forbes, that put it very beautifully. Since ChatGPT upended our certainties 4 years ago, I don't know about you, but I sometimes feel like I'm making it up as I go along. But I do believe that while the jury's out on where this is all going, the more I read, the more I put my faith in human creativity and ingenuity. And these qualities will always be needed to guide, interpret, and implement whatever comes our way. We've long understood the tech bros' aspiration to move fast and break things. Initially, that came with the excitement of new frontiers, endless possibilities that could change our lives for the better, well, at least according to them, and it did seem so for quite a long time. And also, they came with a whopping serving of convenience. However, growing skepticism about existing tech and its psychological effects is fueling, to some extent, the current fear of the AI revolution. Lots of other factors at work, but it doesn't help. But given the hype and predictions that this revolution will act as a wrecking ball demolishing human purpose, it's not surprising there are all different shades of unease in play. And this goes from, on the one hand, mild trepidation to blind panic and outright revulsion. It's quite a shift from the tech optimism that transfused the noughties. So Franklin D. Roosevelt, a smart man, said, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." And it seems to me the issue is not just about whether we can keep up or demonstrate our continued value, although that is a very valid concern. But a bigger problem is fear itself, because fear paralyzes action, driving people into panic as they jump from one upskilling option to another to demonstrate their chops to recruiters. As Roosevelt said in his 1933 inaugural address at the height of the Great Depression, irrational terror and panic are often far more destructive than the actual problems that they were facing. He urged Americans not to let fear hold them back from the painful actions necessary to reset the economy. We're in a similar place today. AI is here, and it really is up to us what we do with it. But if we respond in fear today, we actively embrace obsolescence. And if survival is our only strategy, I think we become like corks bobbing around in a stormy sea, drifting wherever the next wave of change takes us. The better play by far is to identify the skills needed to move forward with confidence, ensuring we remain valuable contributors at the top of the food chain. I've spent my entire career implementing new technology. I lived through the PC revolution in the 80s. In fact, my first job, proper job, career job, not holiday jobs and stuff, was automating advertising promotions for a magazine publishing company. I later co-founded a business that created one of the pioneering event apps in 2010. Getting to grips with technology has always required a steep learning curve, and more recently I've set up an online learning platform for people wanting to develop brands. To get that off the ground, oh my god, I had to absorb so much new stuff. I had to pile on new apps and new tools and new tech platforms. But it's been up and running since last year, and my brain didn't actually break during the process, so I'd have to say that was a success. As the owner of a small creative agency and design studio, I completely understand the FOBO phenomenon. Businesses like mine and creative professionals across the board are reinventing themselves like there's no tomorrow. We need to be crystal clear about our USP, which I see as high-level strategic thinking and deep understanding of human behaviour. AI tools in image generation, campaign creation, consumer research and communications could equally bury us if we don't adapt. They're eating our lunch as I speak. But I'm an optimist, and I reckon we need to apply a different acronym to underline my optimism. So forget FOBO. FOBO sounds too much like a self-fulfilling prophecy, which would take us straight to the reject basket. In my world, the counter to FOBO isn't panicking, and it certainly isn't trying to outcompute the computer. It's changing the game entirely. If you don't want to be caught in the net of automation, you have to offer the one thing a service stack can't replicate. So folks, let's trade FOBO for bait. B is for boldness, taking creative risks that a predictive text model never would. A is for adaptability, learning to prompt a machine rather than fight it. I is for intuition, trusting that our human gut feeling that data can't quantify. And tact, the empathy and leadership that's required to handle all that human messiness. After all, let's face it, AI can draft the email, but it still takes a human to navigate office politics. An algorithm can write the report, but it still can't read the room. The machines are coming for the busy work. Honestly, I say, let them have it.